How you not doing? Here we are, another day, another dollar, another shirt with a dirty collar. Well, what have we got for you today? Whiteness. Whiteness of ivory, the ermine robes of justice, and all that, cobblers. Whiteness. Hello? Any whiteys out there? How you doing? Yes, ladies and germs, we're going to discuss whiteness and how whiteness upholds racism and how you are wrong in your whiteness and you will sit there in your whiteness and be white. We're going to talk about whiteness. Yes, the loons are at it again. Not content with causing unbelievable damage to thousands of children and unbelievable psychological damage to hundreds of thousands more, the psychology industry, or at least the arse end of it, is firmly pushing critical race theory, one of the teats of the udder of equality, diversity, inclusion, diversity, in whatever you want to call it, right? So this is more of the cobblers that we're seeing, except this time it comes under the guise of critical race theory, so that your kids can feel collective guilt about the behavior of their ancestors. In other words, it's original sin. Oh man, it's original sin. And here today, it's the British Psychological Society. I get all these different groups confused, so I have to be careful because I criticize them so much. This particular issue is they're criticized over whiteness and anti-racism lessons. If those of you that don't understand what critical race theory is, it's a totalizing ideology designed to disrupt and bring about the end of the Western world. People go, no, it's not. Well, actually it is, because their main tenet is you're either racist or anti-racist. There's no middle, which means you believe what they believe and you do what they say, or you're a racist. So in other words, it's a totalizing system. Get it? Dirty glasses. It's a totalizing system. So given an inch, these swine will go a mile, as we know with all of these lunatic activists, be it gender identity ideology, be it queer theory, be it critical race theory. So Britain's biggest member organisation for psychologists under fire for decolonised curriculum. The British Psychological Association is teaching psychologists that whiteness upholds racism. The Telegraph can reveal. Well, the Telegraph can reveal. Britain's biggest member organisation for psychologists has been accused of being racist for its approach to education by a new splinter group of therapists called Just Therapy. I love it. They've got James Essis and all the others involved in Just Therapy, right? Which is great. Moving away from these captured organisations like the British Psychological Society, which is obviously populated by mentally stunted twats, right? They've moved off and they've called it Just Therapy, so it's a new organisation for therapists, which is important. James S. is involved. Now, the new association, which consists of about 50 mental health professionals today, I imagine that'll go up a few once this gets out there, say they are pushing back against woke ideologies within the profession. Absolutely right. Imagine going to a psychologist and because you're deeply troubled, or especially if you're a young person or a child. So you're 17, you're deeply troubled. You go to the psychologist. Psychologist says, we need to talk about your whiteness, Mary. Mark, have you considered the inbuilt racism in your DNA because of your whiteness? Robin DiAngelo, who's one of the main twits behind this, she's an awful woman. She was in that film by Matt Walsh. What was it called? Am I Racist? So funny. Am I Racist? She says that even in the womb, the powers of racism were working against her as a white woman. You nutter. The BPS is part funding psychology courses at the University of East London, the UEL. What the hell are they doing? Which includes modules such as Introduction to Whiteness and Talking Whiteness. Imagine if that was Introduction to Blackness or Talking Blackness. It's just insane. In training presentations seen by the Telegraph, Professor Nimisha Patel tells students that the systematic and disproportionate predominance of clinical psychology trainees are white. I wonder why that is. Oh yeah, it's a white country predominantly. Isn't that funny? Stupid woman. Absolutely ridiculous. It's like going into a cheese shop and saying, this cheese shop is predominantly cheese. There are some crackers, she's one of them, but they're predominantly cheese. Bad as hatter. She said that that the question is about scrutinizing our theories, methods, and practices in training institutions and curricula for whiteness and its deleterious consequences for the public. There is no deleterious consequences from whiteness, love. All right, Nimisha, you're just. Is it me or is this just racist? You tell me, because links in the Dubras. Go and have a look. Tell me, is this racist? Okay, we want to know. The public must know. The trainee psychology students are also told white voices need to be careful not to control discussion spaces. So if you're white, shut up. Don't speak if you're white. Is it me or is this racist? I honestly can't decide. Is it me or is this right? Professor Patel says whiteness is invisible and whiteness upholds racism and criticizes terms like BAME, black and minority ethnic, because they center whiteness and tell students to disrupt whiteness by adopting anti-racism as a stance. Now, the other bleeding lunatic that's behind the anti-racism cobblers, what's his name? Ibram X. Kendi. He wants a race board above the president of the United States that will scrutinize every law for racism. They're totalitarian nut jobs. She needs to go, Professor Patel. She needs to go. She's a totalitarian lunatic. In a series of papers and articles published on or advocated by the BPS, that's the British Psychological Society, there is further promotion of so-called anti-whiteness model. One publication in the BPS Clinical Psychology Forum from 2023, entitled Anti-Racist Action in Clinical Psychologists, tells members that despite strides made in the last 3 decades, the pervasive impact of racialized power endures. Yet only because these lunatic nut jobs, woke, EDI die characters don't shut up. Fire them, sack them, get them out of your organisation. Stop doing it. That's what I say. There's a separate article then called The Trojan Horse of Whiteness. What? Now we're all going to get in the horse. Then what? They'll take the horse into the castle. Right, okay. And what happens then? We all jump out and shout no to whiteness. Are you sure this is a good idea? It says whiteness is everywhere in our teaching content, even when we teach about diversity. Well, we shouldn't be teaching about diversity. Right? How about that? How about we stop talking about it? What was Morgan Freeman said? You want to end racism? Stop talking about it. The BPS Standards for Accreditation of Doctoral Programs in Clinical Psychologists declares they are trying to produce a decolonized curriculum. Sarb Bajwa, the chief executive of the BPS, previously stated, "Are we institutionally racist? I think my answer would be that. If it feels like we are, then we probably are." Absolutely insane. They're mental. If it feels like we are, we probably are. Absolutely, on every level, as mad as a box of frogs. Fair enough? James Esses, the founder of Just Therapy, accused the BPS and other similar organisations of being the biggest racists going. Go on, James. Hey, what? Racists! The biggest racists going. He told The Telegraph, the BPS and other similar organisations have signed up to an anti-racist agenda. The twisted irony is that, in adopting an anti-whiteness stance, they are demonstrating themselves to be the biggest racists going. They need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Identity politics have no place in the field of mental health care. More for you to read. Links are in the Dubras. Go and have a look. But you tell me, is this racist? This is the question was being asked by the jester today. Is this racist? Other than that, you go, well, buy people to teach. I'm looking forward to it because I love seeing them. All right? Makes my day. I'll see you later. Thank you very much for listening or watching or whatever it is you're doing. Ta-da!